We have two parts to our math lesson today, and I have stuff all around me to try to help show you and demonstrate. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is heavier and lighter. What do you already know about those words? Could you tell somebody at your family, what does heavier mean? What does lighter mean? When I hold things, I can feel in my hands which one is heavier and which one is lighter. Now, I think we want things that are bigger to be heavier. But if I have my water bottle and it's empty, even though this is really big, it's not as heavy as, um, let's say, this my plan book. It would be heavier. So the shape of the object doesn't matter. So what I want you to do is grab a pillow, and I want you to grab the biggest book you can find. So, and preferably hardcover if you can. So this book is definitely smaller than my pillow. But if I were to hand you both of these, one of the things that's so fun for me in the classroom is when I hand them to you, this hand naturally goes down because it's heavier. So you're here and you've got your hands out ready for me to take it. And when I hand you both of them, this hand goes down. And if you see a scale where you put things in, the lighter object goes up and the heavier object goes down. So just like your hands, the scale would go up and down. So the size doesn't matter. The weight, how heavy it feels, is what matters. So so now I want you to pause the video and maybe go find a couple of things in your house that you can say what is heavier or lighter. For example, I have our caterpillars and my water bottle. And I would tell you again, the water bottle is my drink of water is a lot heavier than the caterpillars. I have here a bag of rice that we're going to use in a minute. This bag of rice is definitely heavier than my book that I'm reading, different than the book I held up for a second. So go around your house and see if you can find some things that are heavier and lighter. Okay, did you find some things to show what was heavier and what was lighter? What does it feel like if they're about the same? When I have these, it's really hard for me to tell which is heavier and which is lighter. They feel about the same. So if I had an actual scale, I might find out one is just a little heavier than the other, but they feel about the same. I would have a hard time knowing which hand should go down. So that's when things are about the same. Okay, so have you guys held a beach ball? They're big. At least some of them, they get to be really big, and we fill them with air. And then have you felt a bowling ball? Which one's heavier? The bowling ball is definitely heavier. If I had a beach ball and a bowling ball, the beach ball would be way up and the bowling ball would be way down. Those are heavy. So even though the beach ball would be way bigger than a bowling ball, that bowling ball is heavier. So we're going to look at this worksheet and we're just going to go through it. So we're just going to circle the one that is heavier. So if you had at the grocery store at your house an apple and a watermelon, which one would be heavier? How do you know? I know I definitely have to hold watermelons with two hands, whereas apples I can hold with just one. So we would say the watermelon is heavier than the apple, and the apple is lighter than the watermelon. Now, scissors and crayons kind of matter what kind of scissors and crayons you have. So they give the example that the scissors are going to be heavier. But if you have a really big crayon, could it be heavier than your small scissors? It could. So this one could probably go either way, depending on what objects you were using. they're probably a little closer. So we're going to say for their example, the scissors are heavier than the crayon, or the crayon is lighter than the scissors. Okay, you decide, is the book or the leaf going to be heavier? It's going to be the book. So what would we say? The book is heavier than the leaf, and the leaf is lighter than the book. Okay, a paperclip or a block? Which one is going to be heavier? The block. So tell me what we would say. The block is heavier than the paperclip, or the paperclip is lighter than the block. Okay, I am going to grab, so that's heavier and lighter. Now we're going to talk about a word called capacity. And I'm going to grab this tray because I think we're going to end up spilling some. So capacity is how much something can hold. So this cup can hold as much as up until the top, and then it will start falling over. This container will also hold things to the top, and so that's its capacity, how much will go inside. So like water bottles also have a capacity. So right now I don't have a lot of water in my water bottle, but it can go all the way full, and that's the capacity this can hold. So what we're going to use to help us figure out capacity is some rice. So I'm actually going to just let the cup pick up all the rice that it can. Let me see if I can get a little bit more in there. Now if you want to test something with capacity, you could use water or sand. I just happen to have some rice here, and I'm actually going to fill a little bit more rice into this cup. So we know it's at capacity. I just had a couple spill. So see how it can hold, see how it's holding kind of over that. I want it to just hold what it has room for. So I'm gonna just take my hand over the rice bag, and I'm just gonna straighten the top. Okay, there we go. So we would say this, because I've got it all the way to the top, is the capacity, how much this would hold. Now, my question is, which one do you think holds more? So the way we could find out is I'm going to pour this cup into this container. If it overflows, then we know this one had a smaller capacity. If all of this fits and there's still room, we would say it has a bigger capacity. It can hold more. So let's go ahead and pour this rice into this container. Okay, all the rice is in, and we're gonna straighten it. Can you guys see that it has more room on top, that I could add more rice? So which one had a smaller capacity, the cup or the microwave container? The cup did. Did that surprise you, that the cup ended up having a smaller capacity? Then we have like this. So these are not the same exact shape, but you can tell there is a lot, it goes a lot deeper in this one. It has more, it's a taller container. So if you had to guess, will all the rice fit into this container? I would guess that it would. So we're going to try, and we see that it has lots of space. Look at all that room to add more for its capacity. So if we were, I have a couple of pieces of rice that didn't want to go in. So if we were comparing these, what do you think? If you remember, we actually started with this cup. So if I filled this container full, would it still fit in the cup? Nope, this has the biggest capacity. So this was the smallest, this was our middle, and here was our biggest capacity. So at your house, would you say your bathroom sink or your tub has a bigger capacity? Which one would hold more water? Definitely your bathtub. Now, what about a swimming pool versus a gallon of milk? Which one do you think would hold more water? Your swimming pool or a gallon of milk? Now, if you were really thirsty, would you get the smallest cup at your house or the biggest cup at your house? Why would you grab the bigger cup? Because it will hold more. Okay, so now we are going to look at the worksheet. So I found a couple pieces of rice that I couldn't see. So we don't always have the exact same object, but looking at these, look at how wide this is and then that it goes taller. Which one do you think will hold more water or rice? Which one has more capacity? The vase. So we would say the vase has a bigger capacity than the cup, and the cup has a smaller capacity than the vase. Now looking at the mug and the pan, which one do you think is going to hold more? Definitely the pan. And we already kind of talked about this one. Which one holds more, your bathtub or your sink? Definitely the bathtub. And which one will hold more, this pail or this tub? Pool. This pool. The pool. So those are the bigger capacities because they'll hold more water, rice, whatever it is. Now down here, they want you to kind of come up with some things that will make these sentences true. So what would hold more than a paper cup? What do you think would hold more than a paper cup? Well, your bathtub definitely would. Would this pail? Would this pot? So lots of things. You can have lots of answers. Tell somebody at your house what is something that would hold more than a paper cup. Then this one says blank holds less than a sink. So what would hold less than a sink? Probably this vase, your cups, maybe even this pail of water. I bet a couple of pails of water would fit into that sink. So can you tell somebody at your house something that has holds less than a sink? Good job, guys.